Welcome back to 303.
Welcome back.
Right?
Yep.
Right. Alrighty, here we go. So today, some of the things this is just a list of stuff, but what I'm focusing on today, we have the exhaust manifold that we're going to work on, advance the timing again. Let me get a little bit better, see if I can focus it. Alright, maybe not. So the timing advance, I'm going to see if I can work on the front camber setup that was up here. So I'm going to clean out the inside of my car. It's just nasty. I got to Windex all the windows and stuff. The heat shield dampening, the cold air intake, I got to tie it down, valve cover bolts, work on the brake fluid. May not change it all out today. We're just going to bleed the crap out of the brakes. Radiator fan shroud, oil change, and the shift knob and the battery bolts. We may not work on the ducting today as far as air. So those points are, so we're going to do there's a little foam insert that I got that we're going to put in between this shroud here and the radiator, so that when the fan is on, it sucks air straight from the radiator, not from around the sides and stuff. Just help the efficiency of this thing. The exhaust gasket here has been out for like right here. It's been blowing out the side here for a long time, and it sounds like absolute trash. So gotta finally fix that and replace this out. And then the tie down stuff we're talking about, this all just kind of moves around down here. It's not the big of a deal, but makes a lot of rows and is annoying. The shroud here, whoop, keeps hitting, and I had a little piece of foam here. We're gonna mend that, take care of that, or just bend it out and have it not hit. We'll gander at that. And then so I got this little interesting thing going on here, and I'll actually, I don't know if I have enough water to demonstrate again, but we can try. So basically, obviously you saw there, is I'm using the windshield wiper fluid, spray, little squirters, and I took down the hose and I hooked it up to, it's like a piece of Windex hosing, and I got it zip tied there, and then I got it tied down here to aim on this. So the idea is to soak the intake pipe before I do like an event like the autocross or something, because it's really hot here. I'm trying to make as much power as I can out of this little engine. So by soaking this, I'm getting it really wet and using evaporative cooling to help cool down the intake temperature. So it's just the same thing as you getting wet and the feeling of breeze. So trying to do the same thing here, and a little humidity is not gonna hurt the engine, obviously. So we're gonna wrap this around it with some holes in it and see if we can get it to like basically soak the entire thing. We'll do a demonstration on that later if we get it to go. Alright, so we took off the fan shroud here, as you can see, nice and clean back here. So what I did is we wiped it down with a little bit of acetone. And here's the fan shroud. I think I mentioned before, it's made out of a lifeguard sign. Just a little fun little tidbit. That's what that is. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this weathering stripping right here, that's like foam, and literally just going to apply and just literally apply it on the sides here. So this side, the bottom, the top, just all around it, so the airflow goes through the fan shroud and not out the sides as well. Alrighty, so Manazzi did a swell job doing the foam here. He's currently taking out, doing what?
Taking out the exhaust manifold? Question mark?
Yep.
Sick.
But he forgot to realize that there's two other bolts holding it onto the rest of the exhaust. Got him. Eager beaver over here. And then we actually, I lied earlier when we said we were gonna put the foam on the radiator. I was like, oh, well, it's gonna get pretty hot, so we want to put it on this. And so he did a great job of putting it on that all the way around the little shroud. So went all the way around, keeping the air in. Bada bing, bada boom. Nice and efficient. Got the tubing on the intake, put some foam down over there to soften it up. I actually didn't put a hold in there. It's pretty solid in there. Didn't want to rattle around a lot. Same thing with the heat shield. Alright, so we got the exhaust manifold off. Here's the beautiful head. And then we come down here and we take a gander here. So you can tell, so here's the gasket that was, so this side's facing the block and the other side's obviously on the manifold here. You can see where it was blowing out the side right there. And then this other side was pretty good. That's pretty good. And this one right here again, right out the side. So making a lot of noise and whatnot. You can also kind of see it on here. You can look how deteriorated that is. Well, that's actually not that bad. There we go. Look at that. Nice. There it is. That's where it's blowing out. So I got a new one. We're gonna throw the one on. But first, since we already have it like this, you know, what's the harm in seeing what it sounds like with no header on, with no manifold on? So hold on to that. So you have any sort of ear protection that you like to throw on?
No, I'll take in the full sounds of the Paseo.
All 100 horses?
All of them.
All right. Alright, clear.
So just putting the manifold back on, and got a fresh, brand new gasket in there. And Kenan, what is the purpose of said gasket?
Ooh, good question, Monoxy. Well, the gasket is to take care of all the impurities, all the irregularities between the manifold and the head. So not everything's a perfectly straight line, and so if there's bumps and stuff, this is going to help fill up all those bumps and make sure the exhaust does not leak out in between them. So here they go. Here's the old gasket right here. It's literally just squished between the two, and you can see all the marks right here. So this is what it originally looked like in the light. So that's what it originally looked like, and here it is compressed against the cylinder head. Whoop, and the manifold. Bada bing, bada boom. And it's like I said, it's just to fill up all the little crevices and stuff. And a good example. I have one floating around, so that's okay. Intake gas in the intake has one as well, and so you can see that it's not. You see like the little rings and stuff from the manufacturing. It's not going to be perfectly smooth all around, so it's just meant to fill up all those gaps and make sure air gets in cleanly, air gets out cleanly. Where'd it go? Oh no! There it is. Oh, let's go on over. Manazzi, what did we finish here?
A lot of fluid changes.
All the fluids.
Bled the brakes, got rid of all the brake fluid that was bad, and replaced it with some fresh brake fluid right there, as you see. So got brand new brake fluid in the car.
Now, what type of dot fluid? You know?
Dot 4.
Ooh.
Had upgrade from dot 3.
You know it.
And then he put in some brand new Castrol, please sponsor us, synthetic oil.
Please.
So yeah, I did an oil change, and yeah,
and there we go.
solid.
So for the
Also, and a new oil filter as well.
ooh, hashtag Fram, hashtag please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us.
So you can see a little bit of wetness going on here. It's a little bit engine degreaser. I threw some of that on. We're about to rinse it off another 5 minutes. Trying to figure out where the oil leak's coming from. I think it's coming between the head and the block. If so, that's really weird. Everything's torqued down, and I made sure I did a good job cleaning the surface and everything when I did this in the winter, but it's had this problem since. And I had this timing belt cover off for quite a while, and it's not from the camshaft seals or anything else on this side. It's not leaking over there, so it's got to be over here. And next thing to do is tomorrow I'll probably take off the power steering pump here, and because it seems like it's coming from behind there somewhere, see if I can figure it out. But I'm going to try and clean it out and see if I can find it where it's coming from, because it's a gnarly little drip. So it's definitely something's going on. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the head gasket, because the oil is pretty dark, like black from blow by kind of stuff. So maybe it's just an old engine, because I think this engine's got like 240,000+ miles on it. I got it from junkyard, and the head is what I refurbished. I didn't do much on the bottom end, so it could just be an older engine, and it's just getting blow by, and that's why the oil's getting really dark. But there's no metal fragments. It's totally fine. It's just black. So I think that's what's going on, and it's a 3,500 mile change. So I don't know. And I'm using all synthetic stuff. Let's see. So you see, oh, whoop, wrong way. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ta-da! You see the little nipple there on the left by the, there's like, it's pretty fuzzy. I don't know why the camera's not focusing, but you can see like the little gray thing right there. And so you use that to bleed the brakes. And Simonazzi was in the car, and he'd press down on the brake pedal, and I'd loosen that up just a little bit, and fluid would come out into a bottle. I'd close it, he'd let up, and then repeat the process. And the idea is that when you just don't want to let air in the system, so always have the valve closed other than when fluid's coming out, and that way you don't make sure you don't get air back into the system. He did a good job pressing that brake pedal. Pressing that brake pedal. All about the brakes today. So, and here's the battery for those who don't know. It's relocated to the back, nice and snug. Checked all my bolts, they were pretty loose, so I'm glad I checked on those. Those are good to go. And then I had one of the CV boots for the axle here on the back side of this broke, and that's why there's fluid. You can kind of see grease and stuff around here. It was all on the inside of the rim. I was like, what the heck? And I took off the rim, and I was like, oh my god. So cleaned up all that. I'm gonna have to see if I can put on a new boot. Last time I did, you know, whatever. I'm gonna see if I can fix that later. And yeah, that's where we stand. And I'm gonna adjust the timing here in a minute, and we'll do that. I'll show you guys how we're doing that. And so now as it started up, rinsed it off, and I'm leaving it a light rev because honestly what happened, there's this bolt stripped out into the head. I don't know how, but it's always been loose since I can remember as far as turning that bolt in. So when I turned that nut, it actually started pulling out the stud, and so I went to address that today and tighten up that stud, and it's just stripped in there. It just kept turning. I was like, what the heck? So now this side, I can feel a little bit of exhaust. So I think it's going to leak out again out of the side, which sucks. But you know what? It is what it is. And so this is what it sounds like. I'm going to rev it a little bit. I can see the fact when I rev it. So I'm probably going to rev it around 4,000 right now, so you can see what it sounds like without the exhaust in it. So we're going to go give it a quick round of the block, check the brakes, just let it warm up, make sure the engine's warm, because you don't want just the timing when the engine's like cold, warm. You want to make sure the engine's like operating temperature. So we're going to do that, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we're going to adjust the timing now, and to do so, on the you have 2 marks on the cap here. There's a diagnosis little, it says diagnosis. It's a little plug and play node, I guess you'd say. So we're gonna go from TE to E1 right over here. So that guy right there to that one, and you can see I already have. And what we're doing is we're shorting it with like a little metal. Like I'm using a paper clip. You can see already where I have put it in. I'm gonna short these two right here. And you can hear that fan kick on. That's just from that, but I can hear the engine idle down a little bit, so I know that it's the computer knows that I'm ready to change the timing. I'll come over to here, and it's a 12 millimeter. We're back. So it's a 12 millimeter, not 14. You can just whack this loose a little bit. They're just on there snug. I just kind of this side. Go loose a little bit, and you also want to adjust the timing when the fan's not on, because that's a load on the engine. You essentially want all the load off the engine, and it just warmed up. So I'm going to rotate it towards me, and you hear it dumb down a little bit. So that's retarding it. I'm going to go back. That's about where it was. And rotating even further advances it, so you can hear it, the engine speed picked up a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll go a little bit more past my timing mark. I have a timing mark on here. What you call it? The bolts is a little stiff. There we go. So you hear it pick up just a little bit more. I'm going to go right there. I can't exactly, and now there's oil leaking out from underneath the bottom because I loosened it up a fat bit. There's oil on my fingers. And so now the timing's advanced a little bit more. I don't know what the timing is right now. It's supposed to be top 10 degrees before top dead center. But I'm just kind of playing it by ear right now, and we're about to go for another drive, and I'm about to see how it sounds. As long as the engine's not too advanced, you just don't want an overly advanced engine, because then you could run into potentially blowing up your engine. Retarded, you're not going to really have a problem. You're just going to have like absolutely no power, and it's really going to run. So right now I just advanced it, like taking like itty bitty steps. Usually should have a timing light. If I get one that works, I'll demonstrate how to use that. But the one I had showed that it was like way off, like 20 degrees before top dead center. And obviously that's not the case. So I gotta go, I don't know how a timing light could be off, because everything's the way it should be on here, and my dad used it on his car and it was off on that too. So we're pretty sure it's a timing light. When I get a new one, I'll show you guys how to use it. This is playing by ear. Really shouldn't do this, but what the hell? Alright, just went for a test drive, and it was pretty awesome. I think we're all good to go. It used to have, because the time was too retarded, until right before 3,000 RPM, it would chug a bit, and now it's completely gone, and it sounds awesome. Manazzi, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel pretty good about it. It was just the right amount of power.
I feel like it's perfect. It's not. I feel like this is right about 10 to 11 degrees, because this is how I feel like I'd imagined it feeling. Stock, so we'll see. And I don't really want to advance it more than this, because like I said, I'd rather have it a little under than over, because I'd rather have more fun in my car for days than blow it up trying to get more power out of it. So, you know, and we're going to do another little rev just to show you guys the difference, what it sounds like. Bada bing.
Bada boom.
Bada boom, man. All the booms. All the power. Getting that timing right. All those good booms. Let's go. We're back. So that's pretty much it for today, was those little things. For the future, what we need to do, I was talking about the camber stuff. I was talking to Manassi about it. We're looking at what it's going to take to do that. And it's probably going to take most of the day. And also that CV axle I was talking about. I'm going to wait till I go back to my parents' house, get some of those bolts for the struts, those strut bolts that go through the hub. And I'm going to get another CV boot to replace that one if I can. Or something to temporarily fix it until the actual CV dies. So we just have to do that, and then a scoop for the intake, which I already started on. If you guys come down here, you can see, whoop, right here. You see the intake right there. That's a scoop for the intake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a box right here to scoop up the incoming air to help force air up into the little nook over here that you guys remember seeing. And that tube is a literal direct channel straight up to the intake pipe, so that when we're cruising above hopefully 40 miles an hour, it's just getting straight cool air, as cold as possible from the outside, not getting all the hot engine air and whatnot. So just trying to, again, keeping that intake charge cool. And that's pretty much it. Next time we may work on the camber stuff, but we'll see. And that's it. I don't know what Manassi, let's switch around and you tell them what's going on with the Celica.
Literally nothing new since the last video. So yeah, hopefully have the car back next week with a new like trunk seal. And yeah,
Okay, and then are you thinking about doing, because we're thinking about going to the firm. He's thinking more about the firm.
Thinking about it.
There's a track day at the firm, and he's thinking about going to it, and it's like $200, but you're there for 6 hours just beating the shit out of your car.
Yep.
So
I don't think I trust my car that much, but also I really want to do it, so we'll have to see.
yeah, and if he goes, I'm going. I don't know if I'm gonna participate or not. I'll at least get photos, but I don't know. I really don't want to push this too much until I get to college, especially with that oil leak and the oil coming out as it is. Once I go over it, I haven't worked on this thing at all summer, so this is my first time actually doing something on this. So I'm gonna go over through it a little more, see if I find that oil leak, but we'll see. I would like to join in. I'm probably gonna do the autocross, so we'll see about that. But he's doing the autocross for sure. I'm probably gonna do it for at least a day, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Bada bing.
About a race. You out here about a race.
About to race, okay.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that's a good wrap. Probably for another hopefully that gets it. Probably for like another couple weeks until the autocross. We'll see.
That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or no, that's in like 3 weeks. Never mind. Yeah, it's the end of the month.
Yeah. So it's in 2 weeks after this weekend.
Yes.
Yes. So 2 weeks after this coming weekend, which Saturday's the 8th, Sunday's the 8th, Saturday's the 7th, Sunday's the 8th. So after that, we'll see. But that's where everything stands, and as things keep happening, we'll let you guys know. There you go.
Yeah.
Peace out, bro.